we're all in the crossing. We're all on the cross in our own lives, and we're all moving from the cross to the crossing. And we need to move from the enlightenment of the elite to the democratization of enlightenment, right? To the democratization of greatness, right? To the realization that actually, right, every man, woman, and child, every man, woman, and child has an instrument to play in the unique self-symphony. Every week we are participating together in this revolution, right? In this commitment to the crossing, in this commitment to know that we're literally at a unique moment in history. We're at a moment that we've never been in before. We're literally in a time between worlds and a time between stories. And the beginning of the crossing is the beginning of being willing to wake up, to not turn away, to not bury my head in the sand of my life, my business, my relationship, my kids, which are all beautiful. We love our kids. I love my kids. I just played catch, baseball catch. It's one of my absolutely favorite things to do in the world, is to be with my son, Zion, who's 12, and to throw a ball with him. And just to throw a ball back and forth. What a crazy joy. And so our relationships, our children, our friends, right, our places of work where we create, that all matters enormously. But friends, it's not enough, right? In the old world, right, the integrity of that, was enough. But in the new world, in order to actually have a new world, in order to actually have a tomorrow, there needs to be a group of us who say, we're going to actually look at the whole. We're going to actually understand that we're challenged today in a way that we've never been. That actually existential and catastrophic risk are real. And as the pandemic, which was just a dress rehearsal, reminded us it's not too big to fail. And to fail means, and I want to get this, okay? I want to get this with you for a second, okay? And can you join my heart for a second? Can I join your heart? Let me just find you in the chat box. And do I have people's permission? We can just enter like the depth of truth and heart for a moment, and just throw away the kind of public ways we talk. Can we just enter the truth and the heart all the time? Like for real all the time. So last night I was looking at, what's happening in the oceans, and particularly in the ocean, where you go from Turkey to Greece and other particular places of crossing into Europe, where there's particular places where refugees from the Middle East have been crossing into Europe, whether it's, finding your way to Greece and then to try and get to Hungary, to try and get to Germany. And I just was reading story after story about boats lost at sea, right? Little dingy boats with women, children, men. Coast Guard not stopping because it's against policy, right? You've got a world in which you've got millions and millions of refugees. And we have enough in the world to feed the world 20 times over. And yet, we don't have a big enough heart. We look away and they literally drown at sea, week by week, desperate for freedom, desperate for new possibility, desperate to live the beauty of an ordinary life and to laugh and to eat and to sing and to pray, right? To eat, to pray, to love. And we look away. That's the beginning, right? To be non-intimate with reality is to be so lost in the drama of my own life that I can't feel beyond my own life. And to actually begin to feel those people in those little boats in the middle of the night, the mother with her child clutched against her breast, and to say, that baby's me and that baby's you. And I can feel her. And I wanted, at a certain point in my life, I wanted to start, or to join. I was actually joining an organization which was working on exactly these issues. And I was going to give up teaching. It was 2006, because I thought teaching is a waste of time, right? I need to actually just get directly hands-on involved in this day and night. And the reason I didn't go down that route is because actually I literally didn't have enough power. I didn't have enough power. There was so much infighting and so much ego, right? And so much just utter nonsense, just tragic within the organizations that were supposed to be helping, and the infighting between them and the egos of their leaders. And I realized I didn't have enough family power. I didn't have enough financial power to make a difference. And that actually what I needed to do was to put my attention and actually birthing together with you, together with we, as our unique self symphony, to actually birthing a new human, birthing a new humanity, birthing a new story of value that we all live in, because that's actually the only thing that's going to actually change the way we engage suffering in the world. And that was 2006. And then as I studied more clearly, and I just realized every day more and more, right, the level of the risk and the level of the breakdown. And I began to understand around 2008, 9, and 10, and 11, they were actually facing genuine existential risk. Right? Like, wow, genuine existential risk. And existential risk can express itself in one of three ways: either extinction, actually humanity goes all but extinct, or in a kind of collapse in which we lose several billion people in humanity, right? Or there's this split, this caste system in which there's this very tiny elite that somehow manages to live in its own sterile internal environment while ignoring, right, the utter collapse and suffering as systems begin to collapse, whether there's ecosystems or governmental systems, right, or nuclear waste systems, or dead zone in the ocean systems, or runaway artificial intelligence systems. Systems begin to collapse, and billions of people die or suffer immeasurably. So to be intimate is, oh my God, we can feel that. Now, we are gorgeous and stunning and beautiful human beings. Or we're not selfish and contracted. We feel everything, but we turn away from our feeling, right? The universe feels, and the universe feels love. And we're each a unique expression of that feeling of the universe. And so I understood, and we understood, and many of us today on this call, we understood together, we have to come together. We have to write a new constitution. And I want to put something up on the screen. Let's see if we can take a look at it. And we'll kind of read kind of our intention together, and then David will resonate it. And then we're going to try and establish, right? This is a historical Sunday. We're going to try and establish a new constitution, because I'm not willing to live in a world in which a woman clutching her baby drowns at sea and I turn away, right? And so we have to create a new world. And the world is filled with gorgeous people. And I'm going to talk about why we turn away a little bit later. It's not because we're evil. It's not because we're selfish. It's not because we're narcissistic. It's not because we're contracted. It's for a much deeper reason. It's a reason that we can transform. It's a reason that we can heal. It's a reason that we can solve. We can do this, friends. We can do this together. Right? And I think about this day in and day out, and I sleep in it every night. We can't turn away from the pain. We have to face the pain, but we've got to face the pain with radical joy. I want to stay with me really close, friends, okay? You can't face the pain by abandoning joy. The only way to change the world is to be willing to live in a world that's already changed right now. Meaning, I've got to live in the liberated world. I've got to live in the celebration. I've got to live in the joy. We got to be in radical joy. We've got to experience our second innocence. We've got to experience play and joy and food and delight and dance and music. And we're going to be coming together, by the way, this summer for 5-7 days in the second half of August to do mystery school, to actually celebrate and to write the constitution of this new world. We're going to be doing it in Belgium, and we'll be announcing the days, I hope, in the next week or two, right? And we're going to be doing this fabulous kind of day of kind of like radical dance, radical music, radical study, radical dharma, like all day, all night, 5-7 days, right? Like we're going to like have this like wild party to change the world, right? Wild party to transform the world. And we got to do it. We got to do it. And we got to step out of our ordinary lives. We can't let the trauma of our ordinary lives so close us down that we look away. So we've got to take care. We got to take care of our child. We got to take care of the inner child in us that's traumatized. And we got to step beyond in the very same time and be omni-considerate for the sake of the whole. The universe feels, and the universe feels love, and the universe feels through me. Okay, so I want to share with you what we shared this week. We'll put it up on the screen, we'll see if we can look at it. The personal, and this is our intention setting. Okay, we ready, everyone? Let's set our intention together and read it out loud wherever you are. Right? The personal is political. There's no split. And so we have to actually articulate a new politics of Eros and a new politics of outrageous love. And so this Sunday, we're here to come together to actually look in each other's eyes. And, at the end, when we all come on at the end, at the top of the hour, we actually look in each other's eyes. And we say to each other, revolution, right? Revolution, right? We come together, we face each other, heart to heart, mind to mind, and we say evolution, right? And it's actually this Sunday that we want to begin to chart the personal, collective, and cultural path from a politics of polarization to a politics of meaning. Think about a politics of meaning, which is a politics of Eros, which is a politics of outrageous love. Now remember, the personal is political. If I don't embody it, if I can't feel it in my body, that's the chant we started with 15 minutes before. I can feel it in my body, in my spirit, and in my soul. That's how we started. Love the earth, love the sky. Heat of fire, drop of water. I can feel it in my spirit, in my body, I soul. If I can't feel it in my body, right, then I can't do it. If I don't embody it, if I can't feel it in my body, my own politics of meaning, then I can't join the great palace, the great community of meaning. If I don't feel in my body, heart, and mind, my own personal politics of Eros, then I can't join in the enactment of the great palace. And palace means community, the great palace of outrageous love. And each of these words means something, right? Meaning. And that's what we've been talking about here in One Mountain. Value, Eros, outrageous love. Each of those words has a very deep, profound meaning. And we're writing a great library, like Da Vinci and his cohorts did in the Renaissance at that time between worlds and that time between stories. We realize we're in a time between worlds. We're in a time between stories. So we're writing a great library, like the Great Library of Alexandria, where we come together and we retell a story of value, and we integrate the best of the sciences and the best of physics and the best of biology and the best of molecular chemistry and the best of anthropology. And we're trying to fund this. We're trying to resource this so we can actually hire enough researchers to work across all disciplines and to actually write the great new Renaissance story of value. Okay? Because friends, we're facing a meta crisis. It's a true meta crisis. And we can either look away, or we can actually say, no, we're actually going to be the new human and the new humanity. We're going to cross the other side, right? Homo amor doesn't look away. Sometimes Homo amor has to step back. Sometimes Homo amor steps forward, but Homo amor never looks away. We're facing a meta crisis. And in facing this meta crisis, we have two radical invitations, or maybe better said, two radical demands made upon our heart, mind, and body, soul, and psyche. And the first is a demand to know, an invitation to know. And the second is a demand to incarnate, to be, to embody, okay? So first, we need to know something of the nature of the cosmos. And to know is carnal, to know is erotic. And Adam knew his wife Eve. It's carnal knowledge, you gotta know it. And we can know something of the nature of cosmos because cosmos lives inside of us. We participate. We know because we participate in the field of Eros. We participate in the field of Eros and grace. We participate in the field of meaning. The politics of meaning and the politics of eros and the politics of outrageous love literally lives in us. We can feel it. And the same way that the mathematician feels the equations that span billions of light years, right? How does mathematics work, right? The fact that a mathematician can actually think in mathematics, and those mathematics match the cosmos, the unbearable elegance, the unreasonable elegance of mathematics is because it all lives in me. There's a mathematics of intimacy that lives in me, the same way the mathematician feels the equation that spans billions of light years, because those equations, the elegance of mathematics, lives inside the mathematician. You see, it's not only that we live in an intimate universe, it's that the intimate universe lives in us. Did you get that? That's actually the truth. It's not just we live in an intimate universe. The intimate universe actually lives in me. So the mathematics of intimacy that governs reality lives in us. And it's not just the mathematics of the physical world, it's the mathematics of interiors. And these are the laws of cosmos. The laws of cosmos literally live in us. Now I want to be really clear. When I say laws, I'm not making a fundamentalist claim. And fundamentalism, which is kind of the pre-modern view of the world that lives in lots of the world today. There's lots of fundamentalism, and bless our friends who are fundamentalists, and they have to have an important seat at the table. And I'm going to welcome fundamentalism to the table, right? Because it stands in this field of meaning. But the weakness of fundamentalism is that fundamentalism almost always says, my system has all the meaning, we've got all the laws, but now we understand it all, and there's no more mystery. We understand why people suffer, and we understand what we need to do to get to whatever heaven means. We know exactly what heaven looks like. That's dangerous. We never give up our humility. We never give up the realization that we're always in devotion. We're always kneeling to kiss the ground before the mystery. The laws don't obfuscate. They don't blur the mystery. The mystery is always there. They don't occlude the uncertainty. They don't birth in us a hubris, right? An arrogance that blinds us to our radical devotion and humility and amazement and awe before the great mystery. That doesn't happen. And yet we can know. And yet there are certainties that live in us. And knowing the laws of cosmos, right, friends, as they live in us, as us and through us, that empowers us and emboldens us. It calls forth our audacity, our sacred audacity to act and enact a politics of meaning, a politics of value, a politics of eros, and a politics of outrageous love. And so this Sunday, today, we're going to begin. We're not going to get all the way there. We're going to begin with the grace of She to outline to the best of our abilities the first of 10 laws of outrageous love. 10 laws of eros, 10 laws of value, the 10 laws of meaning that actually govern cosmos, that live inside of us personally, to which, when we get quiet enough, when we enter into the world of the depth of silence and the words that come from the silence. There are words that come from words, but there's words that are deeper. They come from the silence. When we enter into those words, when we enter into the field of play, when we enter into our second innocence and we can feel the goodness of eros moving through us, then we actually have direct access. And if you can get that phrase, we have direct access, right, to the laws that govern reality. And it's from these laws, my friends, that we must write a new bill of universal human value. And from that universal human value comes universal human rights. And it's a new bill of universal human joy and responsibility, because there's no joy without responsibility, but a responsibility won't work without joy. I can't take responsibility for the suffering around me, whether it's in my family, whether it's in myself, whether it's in the world, whether it's the women and men clutching babies dying in the seas, trying to get over to Europe. We can't do it unless we're already in joy. We laugh out of one side of our mouth and we cry out of the other side. We live in a world of outrageous pain. The only response to outrageous pain is outrageous love, but we also live in a world of outrageous beauty. And the only response to outrageous beauty is outrageous love. And when I go to do wild tantra, right, is not an escape from reality. It's got to embolden me to actually pour the steadiness of my eros, steady eros, so that I'm actually holding and I'm opening, right, and I'm playing my instrument, the unique self symphony. I'm realizing I'm a leader. I have the ability to bring things together. And I was born to bring this together in a way that no one else can. I was born to stand right next to my friends in unique self symphony, right? To stand next to me and me to stand next to you, brother, so that we can do this together. We can write this new constitution. We can download it. I can wrap my head around the whole thing, right? And I stay steady. And that's what we're here to do. We're here from these laws on this Sunday to begin to enact a new universal grammar of value as a context for our diversity. And I want to say that sentence again because it's shocking. We want to enact a new universal grammar of value, which is the source of a new grammar of human rights, a new bill of human rights, but that's got to be as a context for our diversity. Wow. That's what we're here to do. Wow. So this is a historic Sunday. So wherever you are, whatever country you're in, wherever you are around the world, right? In your country, there was a moment where they came together to write the founding documents of your country and your government. It doesn't matter whether you're living in China or Russia or Holland or Brazil or the United States or Belgium or South Africa or Antarctica or New Zealand. It doesn't matter where you are. Wherever you are, there was a place where they wrote the founding documents. We're now coming together to write together the founding documents of the new world. That's what we're actually here to do for real, not for pretend, for real. We are coming together here now to write the founding documents together as the unique self-symphony, the founding documents of the new world. Right? Wow. We're coming together from around the world to write a new constitution, but that constitution is already encrypted. The code is already encrypted in us, as us, and through us. That's what anthrontology means. Ontology, the true reality of cosmos lives in me. What we said 7 minutes ago, we don't just live in an intimate universe. The intimate universe lives in us, so it's already embedded, ever, always in our deepest interior, waiting to be revealed, waiting to be disclosed, waiting to be clarified. So this is the moment and this is the time that we come together. And we do what only human beings have the capacity to do. We recover a memory of the future. We recover a memory of the most beautiful world that we already know is possible. And we respond to the meta crisis by invoking this most beautiful world, this most true world, this most good world that we already know is possible and yearning to be born. And we can do this together. Oh my God, we can do this together. Wow. Like, wow, right? Like, wow. Who can feel that? Who can feel that, right? Are we ready? Are we ready? Are we ready? Where are we? We are in this time between worlds. We are in the revolution. And am I too excited about this? Am I too emotional about it? Hell no. Hell no. Right? Hell no. Right? Right? We're not looking away. And it's such a delight to be here with you. And if you will, just permission. I'm just going to go to the chat box. Permission. Can I just say permission just to say something personal for a second if I can? Right? So I'm just going to look for the chat box. If you guys give me just a little permission for a second, I just want to add in something personal because maybe it'll help. Is that okay? Everybody? Is that okay? I just want to say something just for a second. Okay? Like just for a second. So last night, I received a file from Suzette and Krista, which was a file of, a bunch of things I did, in my early, 20 years ago. And I was in the Middle East and I was doing kind of like a national television show in a particular country in the Middle East, in Israel. And we were creating these kind of participating in these gorgeous, festivals. We had 40, 50,000 people. And we created a series of study programs in Israel and America. And I watched it and I looked at it and it just blew my heart out. It just blew my mind how beautiful it was. And I'm just going to share something deep between you. So I went through a personal tragedy then. It was a great personal tragedy. It was 2-3 people quite deliberately went to take it down. And they went to take it down for political egoic reasons. They did it by making a couple of false complaints against me. We were able to, took us 2 years. I went into complete silence for 2 years. So we recovered the information to show that it was completely false. But for 2 years, I went completely offline. And in a particular community, it kind of froze. It never unfroze, because that's what happens in an internet world. And I was watching it last night, and again, I haven't looked at this for 20 years. And I watched it from like 12 midnight till 3 in the morning. And I just was like shocked, just shocked again at the brutality, the way we can be brutal to each other and the way we can get lost in our own win-lose metrics, and the way we can make, these very short-term moves, to give ourselves a sense of being all right and to kind of deal with our own trauma. And of course, the people who organized this kind of hit were traumatized, and they were dealing with their own sense of whatever their own sense of pain was. And I said, wow, how do we do that to each other? And it just blew my mind. And for about an hour, I just cried. I just cried at how cruel we can be and how incredibly stupid, right? The world is burning, friends. And I just said to myself, like, wow, all is forgiven. Who cares? Right? And I was watching a particular program, and there was someone in it who I was very close to at the time who was involved in that kind of betrayal. And I just said, like, wow, like, I forgive you. Done. It's over. Right? We got to build a world. We got to turn to the men, to the women, right? To the babies, right? To the next generation, to catastrophic risk, to existential risk. We don't have the luxury of staying in the trauma. So I want to turn to everyone here, and I want to say, whatever you've experienced, you're my closest friends. We're close friends, right? This is our inner community. This is our inner space. And we've all gotten hurt. We all get stuck in the hurt. And we all get stuck in our little family systems. How beautiful. They're so beautiful. They're so important, but it's not enough. If you're here, then you're one of the people that's in the Unique Self Symphony. And I want to just invite everyone, forgive yourself, right? Forgive all the people that betrayed you, right? Forgive and get out of the story of retelling the story of the trauma again and again. Do what you can today to heal it, and turn your vision to the world. Liberate yourself, liberate ourselves, so we can actually join hands and be at this moment of the crossing. We got to do all the inner work, yes, but that's just the beginning, and that will never end. So this is the moment right now to say, I forgive you. I forgive you. I'm sorry. I forgive you. It's over. And now, for the rest of my life, I'm putting my attention on the world. And I'm going to hear the cry of the world. I'm going to respond in the most gorgeous and beautiful and stunning way, right, that I can. That's the only thing that there is to do. Oh my God. Right? Oh my God. Wow. Right. So David, sweetheart, take us into the code, the crossing.
So here's this week's evolutionary code. We are at the time of the crossing. The time of the crossing is a time between worlds and a time between stories. Unlike any time we have ever been in before, the crossing is a pivoting point in history. Unlike any time that we have ever been in before. The crossing takes place as we are poised between utopia and dystopia. It's the moment that Abraham stood in when he heard the call to cross to the other side. It's the moment that the slaves of Egypt stood in when they needed to decide whether to return to Egypt or to cross the Red Sea to the other side. This is the great moment of the crossing. All the wisdom traditions in the world, premodern, modern, and postmodern, knew that this moment would come. We're in a phase transition which will either mean the collapse of all human history or the birth of the most beautiful world we can imagine. We will either birth a new human and a new humanity. Homo sapiens will fulfill itself and become Homo amor, or we will experience collapse, stagnation, and extinction. This is the moment where every human being and humanity as a whole is asked one question. Am I ready? Am I willing to play a larger game, to participate in the evolution of love? Am I willing to be the new human and the new humanity? I am willing to stand for the past and all of the present and all of the unborn in the future and cross over from Homo sapiens to Homo amor and birth the most good, true, and beautiful world that we all know is possible. And with that, I turn my word to you, Dr. Marc.
David, thank you. Are we ready? Who's ready to cross the other side, right? Are you ready? Right? So if you're ready to cross the other side, find us in the chat box, find you in the chat box, find me, find we. And we just write in the chat box, right? I'm crossing. I am crossing, right? And we go from the cross of our lives, right? The crucifixion of our lives, because we all get crucified. We go from the pain crucifixion of the cross to the bliss crucifixion of the crossing. Can you feel that? We go from the pain crucifixion of the cross, when our lives are nailed on the cross and we're betrayed. And there's always betrayal. There's always Judas. And we're always betrayed by people who could never betray us, because who can betray you, right? I'm doing business with a close friend, and all of a sudden that close friend is thinking about something else, and all of a sudden they can't feel who we were and they betray me. But the only reason it's a betrayal is because they could never betray me. That's someone who would never betray me. So we're only betrayed by the people who could never betray us. And friends, and sometimes we betray ourselves, right? Sometimes we betray ourselves. Like, wow, we sometimes betray ourselves. You know, when I look back at, 2006, and the claims were completely false, right? I was literally complete innocent of any of the attack, the kind of political attack that was disguised as something else. And yet I look and I say, what an idiot I was, right? I just was blind. I didn't understand the danger, right? I protected our organization against every possible threat from the outside. And I was completely naive about what the other dangers were. They didn't even occur to me. And so I have to forgive myself for that. How could I not have known? I don't know, right? It didn't even occur to me that people could betray each other. It wasn't even a possibility in my mind. I was quite naive. And an idiot, a blithering idiot. And I got to forgive myself for being a blithering idiot, right? We have to forgive ourselves. We got to forgive ourselves for the crosses of our lives, for the agony crucifixion, and go from the cross to the crossing, to the bliss crucifixion of reality's eros, right? Shimmering, awake, and alive in us, calling me, right, to play my instrument in the unique self symphony. Wow, right? That's what it means to be alive. Right? I'm going to cross to the other side. We're going to go all the way in this lifetime. So who's willing, my friends, who's willing to go all the way in this lifetime? From the cross to the crossing, from the agony crucifixion to the bliss crucifixion. And you don't have to do it alone. I can't do it alone. Honestly, friends, I can't do it without you. Right? You're my family. We're family together. We're a unique self symphony. We're here to arouse a planetary awakening and outrageous love through unique self symphonies. And the old world of just one leader, not going to take us home. Yeah, we need leaders. Leadership's important. Yeah, we need teaching. Sure, that's important. But we need to actually emerge a new possibility. And that new possibility is that we're all in the crossing. We're all on the cross in our own lives, and we're all moving from the cross to the crossing. And we need to move from the enlightenment of the elite to the democratization of enlightenment, right? To the democratization of greatness, right? To the realization that actually, right, every man, woman, and child, every man, woman, and child has an instrument to play in the unique self symphony. Every man, woman, and child has a song to sing. Every man, woman, and child has a poem that needs to be written, a story that needs to be lived, and that the command of your life is live your story. Live your story as chapter and verse in the universe, a love story, right? Live your story as chapter and verse in the music, the opera, the emergence, right, of the new story of value, right? Oh my God, friends, right? We need each other. And we think that we can love and not need, right? I sometimes have this is a very funny thing. I know this is like a completely vulnerable, honest day. So I'm going to tell you something else, okay? And tell you something else just kind of funny. We think we can love without needing. So sometimes, in my close circle of friends, right? Some of the people in my close circle of friends, they're all fabulous human beings, right? And some people, fund, resource the organization with their time, others with their creativity, others with, financial funding. And I notice that sometimes people have the sense, and the sense is, right, does he really love me? Does she really love me, whoever it is? Because after all, he needs something from me. So that's bullshit. Right? Let's get clear. Of course we need things from each other. To say I love you is to say I need you. And we look in the eyes of our deepest lover beloved and our deepest beloveds, and we say, I love you. Oh my God, I need you. I need you. Not codependent need, not egoic need, which manipulates for the sake of its own greed, but we need each other for the sake of the all. We all need each other, literally, desperately. So I want to say clearly, when I say I love you, it always means I desperately need you. And then you desperately need me. And we look at each other, we desperately need each other. And you know how much joy it is to desperately need someone? That's what happens when you're making love. When you're making love, you have this sense, oh my God, we need each other to go home, right? There's a reason we're not self-pleasuring. We're making love. We're making love because we need each other. We need each other's touch. We need each other's tenderness. We need each other's fierceness. We can only enter heaven together, right? So unique self-symphony, Teilhard de Chardin, right, the Jesuit paleontologist, right, he didn't have the word unique self-symphony, but he had the beginning of the vision of it. And he writes very beautifully, he said, there's nothing more beautiful, right, than the sensual longing to participate in evolutionary community, right? There's nothing more sensual than sense-making together, I would add. There's nothing more sensual than knowing, the gnosis, than knowing together and then embodying together as unique self-symphony, right? And we have our historical friends, and those are important. Our historical friends are important. We have our friends that we interact with, historically, and we have our business friends that make our businesses run, and we should love each other and be good to each other. But the people we can be at home with are our evolutionary friends, the people that we're participating together with in the evolution of love, the people that are willing together with us to move from the cross to the crossing, the people that are willing together with us to be omni-considerate for the sake of the whole. Like, wow, right? Can you feel that with me? Who can feel that? It's like, wow, right? Wow. Now, I want to just take us, if we can, just one more step here. One more step. I love you, I need you, right? So where does that come from? Who said that first? What's the source of that great statement? Right? What's the source of it? Who said it first? I love you, I need you. We think that I need you is a lack of power. It's not. It's not. It's not. It's not. The most powerful person is able to look in the eyes of his or her beloved or circle of beloveds and say, oh my God, I desperately need you. And I'm powerful enough to tell you that I need you. Right? So who says that first, my friends? That's the great statement of the divine. That's God's great proclamation. In all of the understanding, when you weave together exterior sciences and interior sciences, we have this realization that at some moment, this world that we live in manifests. The unmanifest, the eternal, becomes the temporal. The unmanifest becomes the manifest. Infinity discloses itself as finitude. In the language of the great traditions, ayin, no thingness, becomes thingness, and in the singularity, cosmogenesis explodes. And however it happened, whatever the story is, whether it's a multiverse story or a single verse story, at some moment, this reality, this manifest reality that we live in explodes, and infinity turns to us and says, it's not enough for me to be infinity. I am Eros itself. I am love itself. I am creativity itself. I am all power. I am the infinity of power. But it's not enough for me to be the infinity of power, because power requires intimacy. I'm only powerful if I'm powerful enough to surrender. And so God herself, divinity herself, the Buddha herself, the Christed one, the infinity Christed one, right? The aboriginal vision of heaven and sky, right? That vision of the transcendent source of all turns to us, because literally to us, because where were you at the moment of the Big Bang? You were right there. Where else could you have been? At the moment of the Big Bang, we were all there together. We were all there, quite literally, scientifically, in that original singularity. We were there together, right? Mati and Claire, you were sitting there together at the moment of the Big Bang. And that's why you found each other now, right? Right, to sit and have a drink in Paris together and to plan a revolution, right? Brothers and sisters, right? Christina, right? Oh my God, right? Dr. Kincaid, Christina Amelon, Krista, right? David, Jacqueline Lilith, Zohar, Benjamin, Simona, Jamie, right? Right? Krista, all of us, right? No one's outside the circle, right? Right? We're all Shahati, right? Can't do without Shahati, right? Right? It's like, right? I mean, in every single one of us, we need each other. We need each other desperately, right? We desperately need each other. And so we turn to each other and we say, oh my God, I love you, I need you, because that's what God said to us. God said to us, God says, I can't do this myself. I want to be not just the infinity of power, I need to be the infinity of intimacy. And I need to surrender in order to be alive. And I want to surrender to you. And I need to partner with you in creating the most beautiful possible world. I can't do it myself. And so immortality turns to mortality. God turns to the human being, and God says, let's you and I together create the world in my image. The great statement of infinity, 16th century, Ibn Gabai, one of the greatest masters, the great statement of divinity, Avodah Tzorech Gavoah. God, goddess, needs your service. God needs your service, quite literally. Without Suzette, there's no game. God needs Suzette. Goddess needs Suzette. Doesn't happen without it. Goddess needs Medea. Goddess needs Mosa, right? Goddess needs every single one of us here. No one's left out. Uniquely, God needs your service. Your deed, D-E-E-D, your deed, my deed, is God's need. We need each other. So I want to invite me and we and thee to feel the joy of she, of reality, knowing that we need each other and knowing the radical joy of needing each other, right? My money is your money. My time is your time, right? You're in trouble. I'm in trouble, for real. Now, God can do that infinitely for 7.8 billion people. We have to do it for a little less people individually. We can do it. There's X amount of people we can hold. And so we hold as many as we can, and then we turn towards the whole story. And we actually go to rewrite the source code. Because actually, we need to all take care of each other. It can't be a top-down governmental system controlled by a technocracy where we all have ID numbers. And if we toe the party line, and if we actually agree with whatever the official dogma is, then we can actually get health insurance, we can get a job, and we can get food. That's where we're going. We can't go there. We got to go someplace else. We got to go to a place where the universe self-organizes. We have more and more local communities in which we take care of each other. My house is not my house. My house is your house. You know, the Center for Integral Wisdom, which has been our name for the last decade, and we're actually changing our name. We're going to put up a new website in a couple of months called the Center for World Philosophy and Religion. But we actually just bought a home for the center, and it's owned by the center. And we wanted to have a place where fellows who are studying could come and work, right, and write. But we also wanted a place that if someone got in trouble, they'd have a place to come, right? And so we have 5 guest bedrooms, right? And I hope they'll be full all the time, right? So because I've got to have a home. We have to have a home where people can come. We have to take care of each other. We have to take care of each other. Does that make sense? Who can feel that? Can you feel that? Right? I need you. I apologize for being so personal today, but I need you. And you know what? You need me. And you know what? We need each other, every one of us. And we can do this. And the utter joy of making love is the joy of knowing we need each other to enter heaven. We need each other to explode in joy. We need each other to scream yes. We need each other to scream, oh God. We need each other to scream each other's name. That's what a unique self symphony is. That's what a unique self symphony does. And we have to hold each other's holy and broken hallelujahs. As friends, right? We're all holy and broken hallelujahs. Right? It doesn't matter. Right? We say it every week, right? It doesn't matter what you heard. There's a blaze of light in every word, right? The holy and the broken hallelujah.